B2B digital marketing, techniques that scale. Digital is the new front door for B2B revenue. B2B buyers aren't harder to reach so much as they're choosing to reach you later. Around 93% of B2B buying decisions now begin with an online search, which means your website and content are often the first discovery call, whether sales is involved or not. Buyer expectations have also shifted in a way most teams underestimate. Gartner reports 61% of B2B buyers prefer a rep-free experience, and 73% actively avoid suppliers that send irrelevant outreach, which raises the bar for both your marketing targeting and your SDR messaging. The practical takeaway is simple. B2B digital marketing has to scale with intent, not just volume. If digital is producing awareness but not trust, clarity, and next steps, your SDRs inherit a pipeline full of confusion and low-quality conversations instead of qualified meetings. How the modern buyer journey changes your go-to-market. Many prospects are deep into their evaluation before they ever accept a meeting. Research summaries often estimate 60 to 70% of the journey happens digitally, and buyers typically consume 3 to 7 pieces of content before engaging sales. So the story your content tells is shaping the shortlist long before an SDR gets involved. That shift creates a new advantage for teams that treat digital as an operating system, rather than a set of campaigns. Your most valuable signals now live in online behavior, repeat visits to pricing pages, multiple views of comparison content, and downloads tied to buying triggers are the early warning system that helps SDRs prioritize accounts and personalize outreach. It also means spray and pray outbound is no longer merely ineffective, it's brand negative. Whether you run an in-house SDR team or work with a sales development agency, your outreach has to feel like the natural continuation of what the buyer already learned online, not a disconnected pitch from a different company. Build a scalable SEO and content engine around your ICP. SEO-driven content remains the most compounding channel in B2B when it's aligned to revenue. Some 2025 marketing stat roundups report 57% of B2B marketers say SEO drives more leads than any other initiative, and organic search is frequently credited with a major share of inbound leads and revenue contribution in B2B. The mistake we see most often is chasing traffic instead of ICP-qualified pipeline. Ranking for broad vanity terms can look great in analytics, but it floods your funnel with poor-fit leads, wastes SDR cycles, and makes marketing look like a cost center. Instead, anchor your keyword and content plan to industries, buying triggers, and job-to-be-done queries that map cleanly to your ideal customer profile. A scalable approach is to prioritize 10 to 20 high-intent topics per ICP and build clusters that move buyers forward. When the cluster includes practical how-tos, comparison pages, and proof assets, SDRs gain ready-to-send links for cold email agency-style sequences, LinkedIn follow-ups, and objection handling, especially for searches like sales outsourcing, outsourced sales team, SDR agency, and B2B sales agency evaluations. Turn attention into meetings with CRO and airtight routing. If your site converts poorly, more traffic just means you pay more to get the same number of conversations. Benchmarks commonly peg average B2B visitor-to-lead conversion around 1.5%, with 3% considered strong and 5% plus achievable for higher ACV offers when the funnel is dialed in. So conversion work is often the fastest way to create pipeline without increasing spend. Offer design is where most teams either unlock momentum or stall the buyer. High-intent visitors should have a direct path to talk to sales. Mid-intent visitors should have credible next steps, like ROI breakdowns and benchmarks. And early-stage researchers should have education paths that build trust. The goal is to match the CTA to intent so you don't force every buyer into a demo request too early. Routing is the silent killer, and ignoring it is a costly mistake. Map your digital funnel to real sales stages. Define what behaviors count as MQL versus SQL, and commit to fast follow-up SLAs. When routing is clean, a cold calling team or cold calling services motion can prioritize the right accounts while marketing automation nurtures the rest. Scale doesn't come from doing more campaigns. It comes from building one system where content, conversion, nurture, and SDR outreach all reinforce each other. Use segmented nurture to convert research into revenue. Email and automation are where you turn anonymous visits into sales-ready conversations, especially when buyers prefer to self-educate. Done well, nurture is a compounding asset. It re-engages the right contacts, creates repeat site activity, and hands SDRs context that improves personalization and reply rates. A common mistake is using the same generic drip for every lead. Instead, segment by fit and intent. Fast-track high-fit, high-intent leads to an SDR sequence. Run problem education tracks for early-stage researchers, and use behavior triggers when prospects view product pages, pricing, or comparison content so your message matches what they just cared about. Operationally, keep it simple and measurable with a basic scoring model from 0 to 100 that combines firmographic fit and behavioral intent. When the score crosses your SQL threshold, your SDR agency motion, whether in-house or outsourced, can step in with relevant assets, not generic pitches, across cold email, LinkedIn outreach, and, when appropriate, B2B cold calling. Scale ABM and paid media only when data and sales are aligned. ABM works best when it's a coordinated revenue play, not a random display campaign. The goal is to increase engagement inside a defined list of target accounts, then use SDR outreach to convert that engagement into meetings, especially for higher ACV offers, where a small number of accounts can drive a large share of pipeline. Launching ABM without clean data or sales alignment is one of the fastest ways to burn budget. Lock a named account list with sales leadership, enrich it, and ensure marketing and sales are pursuing the same segments. When the list is shared, reporting becomes credible, and messaging stays consistent across ads, landing pages, and outbound touches. A practical starting point is a 60 to 90-day pilot for 50 to 100 target accounts, measured against a control group. If you're pairing ABM with an outbound sales agency or B2B sales outsourcing partner, coordinate weekly so ads drive awareness, content handles objections, and SDR outreach converts engaged accounts into booked conversations. Unify marketing and SDRs into one playbook. When SDRs operate on a separate playbook, buyers feel the disconnect immediately. They read your content, see your positioning, then receive outreach that sounds generic. That mismatch erodes trust and lowers response rates, even if you're using best cold calling services or a high-performing cold calling agency. The fix is straightforward. Co-create messaging frameworks and sequences for each campaign. Every webinar, report, and ABM push should ship with SDR talk tracks, objection responses, and stage-based asset suggestions so the buyer experiences one cohesive narrative from first click through first call. This is also where instrumentation matters. Ensure UTMs, CRM campaign tracking, and marketing automation attribution can trace meetings and opportunities back to channel, campaign, and content. Then review those metrics in a standing revenue meeting so decisions are made on pipeline impact, not vanity engagement. What to do next? Build the system, then scale the channels. The most reliable way to scale is to sequence the work. Start with ICP clarity, then build SEO-driven content, then tighten conversion and routing, then add segmented nurture, and only then accelerate ABM and paid. That order prevents you from pouring spend into a leaky funnel and ensures each new dollar amplifies a system that already works. From an execution standpoint, the bar is not creativity, it's consistency. Most teams don't struggle with ideas, they struggle to publish, optimize, route, follow up, and report at speed week after week, while also running outbound motions like cold call services and LinkedIn outreach services in parallel. At SalesHive, we've seen the best results when digital demand and outbound execution are built to complement each other, not compete. If you're considering sales outsourcing or evaluating SDR agencies, the right model should plug into your funnel with clean data, tight targeting, and transparent reporting, so your marketing efforts translate into measurable meetings, SQLs, and pipeline.